Feed Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you again.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
You could win one of 2 trips to see Banana Ball live. Purchase 2 Body Armor products, use Let's Go Rewards, and you're entered to win. Right now, Body Armor is buy one, get one for $1 with Let's Go Rewards. Start getting those entries in. Let's go.
Around here, toughness isn't talked about. It's lived.
Matt Wagner with the one-handed catch down.
Early mornings, late nights.
Going forward with Ford.
Work that doesn't make the highlight reel.
Same mindset, different uniform.
This is the blue-collar grit, earned, not given.
Tough days don't stop us. They build us.
McMillan shoots and scores.
For the workers who don't back down, Ford doesn't either.
Shannon fires.
Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we we doing, Bronco Nation? It's Friday. You made it to the end of the week. Welcome on into Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains. I'm in the Sun Cruiser studios here at BNN. Our title sponsor is Lithia Ford of Boise. We appreciate Jim Sturk and Company. Lithia Ford of Boise, online for all those newer pre-owned vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. And they're in the Lithia Ford of Boise studios at KTIK. Our regular Friday guest, and that is Mike Prater. Mike, it's Friday. I'm sorry for the next 45 minutes. I had to pull you away from the Masters, but I know a lot going on, but we appreciate you jumping on. How we doing?
Doing well, BJ. It is a wonderful Masters Friday. I've already got about an hour's worth of coverage in, so they've been playing golf out there for a couple of hours and keeping a close eye on the tab, but so far, so good. Beautiful day in Augusta, and it's a beautiful weekend here in Boise. Let's talk some sports today.
I know I do this every year, and I know it's just an old man gripe, whatever, that you probably don't care about. But I know the Masters has all these traditions and everything, but how we can't get more of the early portions televised. I know they have the featured groups and all that, and the app and all that, but why we can't just get the entire thing on an actual channel from start to finish. I know they have rules and there's reasons behind it. I get it. But in this day and age, it is frustrating when you can't watch certain guys at this point on a Friday morning, but it is what it is. It's gotten better. It has gotten better.
Well, yeah, that's definitely an old man thing. The Masters is the easiest thing in the world to watch on television. There's more access to the Masters than almost any other sport. I've watched every single star play every single hole so far this morning for the last 2 hours. So, it's not hard, BJ, and you know this, to fire up an app or type in masters.com and then you push a button. So I've heard a lot of other people complain about that, but that's definitely an old man complaint.
Is it the Amazon added a couple hours, I guess, at some point? Is that what is that?
There was 2 hours of prime coverage yesterday, and it's 2 hours of additional coverage. Yeah. They just picked up the feed. There was no gimmicks. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as watching ESPN. It's the same thing as watching CBS. There's just a little different logo because they all use the same cameraman. They all use the same feed. And it was just 2 hours of coverage yesterday from 11 to 1, I believe. And then I believe they're doing it again today. So again, just another way to watch the easiest tournament to watch in all of golf.
You got to have the ESPN app, I guess. I was watching the featured holes, I guess, yesterday morning.
You don't even have to have the app. Just type in ESPN.com.
Okay, perfect. Now, I did announce this last week, Mike Prater. There's just a lot going on, and it's really, really hard to do. And I did announce last week, unfortunately, we're going to take a 1-year hiatus on the golf tournament just because it's a lot of work, and my whole goal is to give a lot of money to charity, and there's a lot of factors behind it, but I want to make sure we can be in a position to give the most money possible to charity and not me put in a ton of work and then not give them a lot of money. So I have some other events, the happy hour thing, some other ideas to try to raise some money for charity in moving forward here. But the actual golf tournament itself is going to take a 1-year hiatus. But with that said, Mike Prater, I'm going to go full screen for a second so I can show you this. Our friends at Sun Cruiser did just mail to my house a full-size Sun Cruiser, really, really nice cart golf bag here. I don't know if you can see this or not. This is a several $100 Sun Cruiser, probably really nice golf bag here. That we are going to do and maybe Mike Prater can help us run this since he has experience in running pools, but we're going to do a tournament for the U.S. Open, I believe. I believe Sun Cruiser's involved in the sponsorship for the U.S. Open. They're also involved in the Boston Beer Company and the World Cup, so we have some ideas for that. But if you like this Sun Cruiser golf bag right here and want to have a chance to win it, speaking of the Masters, we are going to have a little event around the U.S. Open where you can win that. So.
I like that. Very colorful bag. That'll look really good on the greens in the middle of the summer. That's a pretty cool event. And sorry to hear that about the golf tournament, but those things are brutal. I mean, I've had to do a couple of those in my past, and they are beautiful. And you've done a really nice job with that, raising a lot of money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. And let's get that sucker back on track next year.
Yes, it's. I'm very sad about it. It's only going to be a 1-year hiatus. Hopefully, I've just got to try to get some help in terms of running that thing. And it was just too much going on and just long story, but we're going to have some other events. I want to give some money to charity. I've got some other ideas for happy hours, maybe a trivia night, some other stuff we're working on, some meet and greet stuff. So more details to come on that moving forward here. But let's see. Golf is boring unless you're playing it. I don't know about that. Good morning. Let's see. March and April, best 2 months of the year. This is certainly a fun time of year for sure. And that's because we've got the spring game coming up in 2 weeks, Mike Prater. We have April 25th, little later than usual this year. The first scrimmage will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to hear from Tim Keene in a second. Talk a little offensive line. I want to talk quarterback, Zach Hill. We have a quote from him as well. But just generally, as we get ready for scrimmage 1 tomorrow, we're at about the midway point of spring camp. What have been kind of some of your general takeaways or impressions, Mike, at the midway point of spring camp?
Well, knock on wood, I don't think there's been a negative headline yet in terms of an injury. There was I saw a shoulder injury the other day that we're probably not allowed to talk about, and I don't know how serious it is, but I think it's been injury-free for the most part so far. No real negative headlines that have come out of this. It seems like there's been progress at a lot of different position groups, and mostly just a lot of just setting the foundation for the seating chart now, the depth chart in the fall, and building some depth, building some rotation, and getting to know some of these guys. So I think it's been pretty productive. They've had some nice weather. They've been able to get out there and get a lot of work in. We've talked about the different vibes, the business-like approach, the live tackling. Oh my gosh, the live tackling is insane right now. If this isn't one of the better tackling teams when the season starts this fall, something dramatically went wrong, because they're tackling like crazy live, many reps during spring camp. So I like seeing that so far. Nobody's really been a victim of the live tackling. So I like what I see out of camp so far.
All right, the quarterback, Zach Hill. I mean, I think you finally you said it a couple weeks ago about the quarterback, battle. You kind of conceded that it's going to be, for better or worse, Maddox Madsen as the starter. But I do think there is a real battle for number 2 that's going to go on as we get ready for the year. We're trying out a new feature here on StreamYard, Mike. I've got a poll. I think, folks, it says type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. Who will be QB2 against Oregon? I think there's 2 candidates, Mike, but I put all 4 in there just to be, fair and transparent here. But Max Cutforth is number 1, Cash Herrera number 2, Jackson Taylor number 3, Zeke Martinez number 4. Whoever the backup quarterback will be in your mind against Oregon, type that number in the chat, and we'll kind of monitor this as the show goes on and see, okay, our first pick was for Zeke Martinez. All right, there we go. But we're going to just kind of have some fun and attempt to see if this is going to be something we want to use moving forward here, a new chat or not. But QB2, give us your thoughts, Mike Prater, on the quarterbacks. And maybe before we do that, let's play a quick bite from Zach Hill. This was kind of his opening statement yesterday, talking to the media about the quarterbacks.
Seen out of the quarterbacks this spring, how you feeling?
A lot of progression. I've got 2 young guys in the room, and so there's a lot of learning going on. We've been pretty heavy with the installs and not too much review yet. So we're putting a lot on them early in the process here through spring ball, and I think Mad Dog is playing really well. He knows where to go with his eyes. He's got a good feel for the offense, really good operation, and you can see it in the way he plays. He's playing fast right now. I think those other guys, Max is doing a great job too. Has got some time last year, some experience under his belt, which is going to help, for the future and the stability of the room and the team. And then those 3 other guys are pushing and trying to get better and trying to learn as much as they can from day to day. So
I was asking Tim,
and we've talked, Mike, about the extra live periods they're doing, or I guess how they're splitting it up now and putting 2 sets of live reps at the same time, which they haven't really done a lot of in the past. And it sounds like the 3rd and 4th stringers, and in particular the quarterbacks, are the ones benefiting from that. The starters would get their reps anyway, but the 3s and 4s that maybe would get 5 live reps in a practice are now getting the same 25, 30 reps in some of these periods as the starters. And so I think the development of the Cash Herreras, Jackson Taylors is going to be maybe faster than it would have been in a previous spring. What do you make of you can go Maddox if you want, the quarterback room as a whole, but in particular, I was surprised at how big Cash Herrera was. You stand behind him in the end zone, and he's a little bit taller and bigger, and certainly throws a really, really nice ball. And we had Adam Engroff on at 27 years as an NFL scout. He said he has the best, he right away could tell he had the best arm of the entire group. And that includes Maddox Madsen. So what do you make of just the quarterback room and maybe that battle for that number 2 spot?
Yeah, I like your poll idea, but I can tell you what that answer is right now, and you're not going to get an answer when it comes to Oregon. Here's what's going to happen. I mean, Cash Herrera and Max Cutforth are going to continue to compete for the next couple of weeks, and there'll be a really intense competition in fall camp, no doubt about it. And I really like the way that that's progressing, and I agree with almost everything you say. Well, I agree with everything you say there. But here's the deal. they're not going to name a number 2 quarterback going into the Oregon game. That depth chart on Monday of the Oregon week is going to say Maddox Madsen's going to be your starter, and then it'll say Max Cutforth or Cash Herrera is how it's going to come out. And unless Maddox Madsen gets hurt, we probably won't even see a second quarterback march out onto the field. I don't think I want Cash Herrera as good as the reviews are getting. A 17, 18-year-old kid making his first college appearance at Autzen Stadium. I think today, sitting here today, if everything is equal and everything plays out like I think it will, Max Cutforth should be the number 2 guy. But the push that Cash Herrera is putting on right now is really impressive. And clearly, no offense to Adam Ingroff, but he clearly stands out to everybody in terms of just being a little bit different. Even with an untrained eye, you can see the size. It's really, really cool. You can see that arm. It's pretty dang impressive. And Maddox really has a nice arm. You can't, of all the people that criticize Maddox Madsen, if you stood there and practiced and watched him for an hour and a half, he's got a really, really beautiful arm with some strength and some decent touch. The long game is still a work in progress. And Zach Hill mentioned that yesterday in terms of the work in progress. We've been talking about the deep game for Maddox for a couple of years now, but I think the competition is great. Cash Herrera is really, really doing great things. And I cannot wait to see, not to move ahead, but next spring is going to be Cash Herrera and Jackson Taylor for QB1. The quarterback position is going to be really fun to watch over these next couple months.
No doubt. And like I said, Mike, I'm just testing out the chat here to see, and it was just an easy one to throw up there. I know it's not a scientific poll or what we expect to happen, and I fully expect most people to be on the Cash Herrera train here. I still think Max Cutforth, the experience he got last year, what he did last year certainly is valuable for him. And I think some people are writing him off a little bit and just ready to anoint Cash Herrera as a lot of the folks, heck, on this show want him to be the starter next year, let alone the backup. So again, just for fun, 1, 2, 3, and 4, type it in the chat there. Who you think the backup will be against Oregon. And I do probably agree with you, Mike, that it may be an or, and it's going to go back and forth. I mean, heck, I remember the end of spring last year, Mike, you went off the reps in the spring game. Caleb Annett got way more reps, and we all thought, okay, looks like Caleb Annett's kind of separating himself as QB2. And then next thing you know, as fall camp went on, it was it ended up being Max Cutforth that had passed him, and even Zeke Martinez had passed Caleb Annett at one point. So, I do think that there's a chance that could be the case, but I would say that's certainly a position we've seen fluctuate back and forth in recent past here. Let's hear one more bite from Zach Hill, and this is on the 2 young guys, Cash Herrera and Jackson Taylor.
So far, 2 different types of quarterbacks. Really, Cash has got his strengths are he's big, he's athletic, he's got a big arm. Some prototypical pro style type attributes from a quarterback standpoint with the big upside, and so we'll see how his development, his first time through with the offense, and Jackson's, strengths, he's an extremely well processor. He really does a good job with the preparation piece. So he does a good job studying and retaining information. And then he operates really well. Some different strengths. Doesn't have quite the same arm that Cash does, but is functioning well. He's right now in spring doing really good as far as the completion percentage and finding opportunities to get completions. But yeah, it's fun having both of them in the room. But they get along with each other really well, and they push each other in different ways. And it's a good kind of back and forth between them right now, whether it's the meeting room or the practice.
And I'll be very curious kind of to watch this, Mike, because you know how in this day and age, if you're not starting in a year, you might be gone. And, Jackson Taylor was the guy that's been committed the entire time, was one of the first commits in the class, was helping get other guys in the class and all this stuff, and was kind of when other quarterbacks were decommitting, he stayed and bled blue and all this. And then they go out and get a quarterback right away that's, theoretically ahead of him on the list. And so I just find that dynamic interesting. And Jackson Taylor seems like a guy that he said all the right stuff before he got here, bleeding blue and all this kind of stuff. But if right away Jackson Taylor is QB2 going into the season and Cutforth's 3 and Jackson Taylor is 4 or something, you hope he sticks it out. But 2 guys both competing in the same class is a little unique. You don't see a lot of that. They usually try to stretch it out every year, a different quarterback. And so to have 2 to catch up because they were behind on the depth chart there, I just find that dynamic that's going to be intriguing to watch.
Oh, 100% agree with that. I'm fascinated by that, and throwing the fact that they're really close friends. I mean, they're not best friends, but they're about 90 minutes apart in Southern California. They train together in the summer. They train together with the same really highly respected quarterback coach in the summer. So these guys are pals, and they've either come to an agreement, like no matter what happens, whether it's 1-2 versus 2-1, they know that the 2027 season, there's going to be opportunity here. And maybe Jackson Taylor is self-aware enough that he knows that Cash Herrera might be just a little bit better. And he just likes hanging out with his buddy, and he's here to be QB2. Now, I would imagine that he probably doesn't feel like that because these kids are all very, very competitive, and we'll see how it plays out over the next year. But, yeah, I think Boise State's done a nice job of preparing themselves for the future when it comes to quarterback. We're going to have to deal with Maddox Madsen, and I know that doesn't sound great, but we're going to have to put up with Maddox Madsen this season, the good and the bad, and that will be fun to watch. But, the QB future is certainly fascinating at Boise State.
Ahmed Hassanin's father's in the chat here. He says, "Good morning, Mr. BJ, Mr. Mike Prater. Miss you very much. I'm Ahmed Hassanin's father, former player for the." We know who Ahmed Hassanin is here. We appreciate you, Mr. Hassanin, for watching in. Wish all the best to the team this year. Go Broncos. So pretty cool that he is watching over there. We always appreciate you checking in, Mr. Hassanin.
We love your son, dude. We love your son, and they'll be on the field here in a couple of weeks, the Detroit Lions, and get that sucker back on the field, get that sucker back in a camp, and cannot wait to see Ahmed Hassanin play some football.
Now, I know you didn't mean it quite the way it may have sounded, but you said we have to deal with Maddox Madsen, and I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that, all the stuff that comes with that, but what do you – I don't have the bite cut. I don't know if you guys played it on the show yesterday or not, but Zach Hill did talk about a lot about Maddox Madsen, and I get it. It's spring ball. It's 8 practices in, but there is a lot of talk that he just looks a little different this spring in terms of his leadership, in terms of the way he's throwing the ball and some of the things he's working on. Fifth-year senior. He's married now. He's through this another year. Like, is there any – I mean, you can't add 3 inches to his height. I get that. You can't make him any taller than he is. But what are the expectations in your mind right now for Maddox Madsen? And are you hearing anything, seeing anything that would make you think that his game could be elevated a little bit from where it's been?
Yeah, no, I really can't. I'm not going to sit here and lie and try to fake it. Maddox Madsen, he's not taking any steps backwards, and I think he's grinding. And you're right about the leadership part. He's an absolutely beautiful leader, and this is a guy, I don't know, making $500,000 a year on this football team or whatever it is in terms of his package. And he needs to be a leader as the fifth-year senior and as a quarterback. And I think that's his strength. And he's really, really good at that. But he's always been pretty good at that. Is he just a little bit more vocal this year? I don't know. But this time last year, we talked about 2 things. And we talked about getting better at the long ball and getting better at accuracy. Those are the 2 things that all the coaches talked about with Maddox Madsen last year. Well, you don't have the clip, but I can guarantee you, because we all heard it yesterday, Zach Hill talked about Maddox Madsen. The focus this spring has been to get the accuracy better and to get the long ball better. So the conversation a year later really hasn't changed. And I feel, when I said we have to put up with Maddox Madsen, I stopped, I paused, I rolled my eyes at myself because that's a cheap shot. But it's also the reality. And everybody loves Maddox Madsen. He's a wonderful human being. And I hope he lives in this community forever and becomes a rock star in this community. I have a feeling that as soon as his football career is done, he's going to go somewhere else because this community doesn't embrace him back. He's not a terrible quarterback. And if you think back, guys, and I'm working on a little column for BNN, just every quarterback except for Kellen Moore at Boise State, every starting quarterback has had some kind of quirk, some kind of deficiency, some kind of, Bart Hendricks was terrible the first year and a half. Dirk Cutter wanted to fire him. Ryan Dinwiddie had some ups and downs and even got, arrested and suspended for a while. Jared Zabransky, seriously, and then here comes Kellen Moore, and then so many other different quarterbacks. Every great quarterback at Boise State's had some warts, and I think Maddox Madsen is the same guy. His warts are just a little bit different. The era is different. The expectations are different. Nobody can get over his height, and he hasn't gotten better. His passing percentage last year was down. His career passing percentage is barely 60%. In an era where everybody's throwing 70%. His yardage was down. His touchdowns were down. His interceptions were up last year. My expectations for Maddox Madsen are simple. Get better and be competitive against Oregon. If you can do those 2 things, hey, I'm good with it.
Hey, Max Payne says Joe Southwick taking a leak off a hotel balcony was legendary, not a quirk.
Touche. I love that. Absolutely true.
And you mentioned Maddox Madsen. He's going to have to improve and make all these changes with a lot of questions at wide receiver position too. So that's certainly adding to the question mark there at wide receiver and quarterback and vice versa is trying to bring some young guys along. Although we have heard some pretty good things from some of those new receivers, whether it be Morris or Akeem Wright. And then we've all talked about Rayshon Jones. Somebody has a question here about, it says, if the O-line can buy Madsen time in the pocket against Oregon, the offense will have a chance. Well, I actually wanted to talk about the O-line, Mike Prater, and hear from Tim Keene, the offensive line, another big storyline question mark with having to replace some guys. We'll do that in just a second, but I do want to thank Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Lucky old Jim Sturk down there at the Masters. We appreciate Jim and Jamie and the whole crew over at Lithia. Newer pre-owned vehicle, never a better time. You can view their full inventory of vehicles online at lithiafordboise.com, and they're taking care of Spencer and Jeremiah and a lot of coaches, players with NIL deals and courtesy vehicles. So return the favor, folks. Lithia Ford of Boise online, lithiafordofboise.com. I mentioned Sun Cruiser, our studio sponsor. They got that new blueberry lemon flavor. If you're looking for a beverage this weekend while you're out golfing, while you're watching the Masters, whatever it may be, Sun Cruiser, I highly recommend you give it a shot. They have the iced tea vodkas, but if you're not a huge fan of tea like I'm not, they have the lemonade vodkas as well. And so they're tremendous. Blueberry, strawberry, pink lemonade flavors, regular lemonade. So go to Jackson's, go to Ridley's, go to your local gas station, grocery store, and grab an 8-pack. And I promise you won't be disappointed there from our friends at Sun Cruiser. Hey, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop. You can move money around, do all those things right from your phone. You go in once to sign up. You pretty much never have to go back in. So easy to use. I know Mike Prater's an ICCU member. I'm an ICCU member. Where you don't really realize what you're missing. You think you're fine with your current bank. Then you go to ICCU and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know this was included. I didn't know you could do this. So make the switch today. You'll be happy you did. Again, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Banana balls coming to the Blue. And if you did not win the raffle or the lottery to win tickets or to buy tickets, we got 2 chances for you. Thanks to our friends at Jackson's using your Let's Go Rewards app. You just buy 2 body armor products, buy one, get one for $1, and you get entered to win 2 chances to win a trip to see Banana Ball, either in Eugene, Oregon, or right here in Boise. So thanks to our friends at Jackson's. Get out to Jackson's, buy 2 body armor products, and get entered to win your chance to see the Banana Ball matchups either in Eugene or in Boise. Hey, Taco Bell, the breakfast quesadillas, the crispy chicken strips, the crunchy chicken cantina tacos, all the great options there at Taco Bell. TacoBellWorks.com. They're continuing to add to the menu, change to the menu. It's not the old Taco Bell you think of. Numerous new items, healthy items. Check out TacoBellWorks.com for more information on the Nicolason family and the SON management group here locally. But visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Also, check out the Blue and Orange store online, theblueandorangestore.com. You can check out all their 4,000 plus hats on the hat wall there at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame location, where you can get the customized basketball jerseys, football jerseys, and of course the OG location out there at the Boise Town Square Mall. But anywhere in the world you need Boise State basketball gear, football gear, hit up the blueandorangestore.com. Again, the best selection, the best prices, the Blue and Orange store online at the blueandorangestore.com. And I know, Mike, with the north end zone progressing, there's some talk of adding some new, whether it's a standalone store or some more kiosks. They're going to have a presence in the north end zone with the Blue and Orange store there. And man, that was a quick aside. Toured that thing a week or 2 ago and talked to you about it. But whenever we're out there at practice every day, it's just getting closer and closer. And when you're on the field kind of looking in that direction and you start thinking about that home opener against Memphis and that place full and rocking in the north end zone, that thing's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, I noticed that. I spent way too much time staring at that on Tuesday at practice and actually missed about 15 minutes of practice because I was blown away. The crane is gone, and you're right, the shape is 100% done, and there's lots of detail work to be done, but they're way ahead of schedule, and this is going to be really cool. I did notice, like, kind of in the 2 corners, those big, giant, they're metal poles. They're almost like telephone pole-looking things. I wonder if the one on the northwest corner is going to be the new blue chaos flag. I don't know what the other one's going to be, but it almost they're so dang big, it almost covers up a couple of sight lines. I know they put those things up, so A lot of stuff, a lot of detail, and it looks really, really cool. I cannot wait till that September 12th game.
I think those are actually the netting for the field goals.
No, because it was wider than the field itself.
Yeah, they said maybe not, but they had said, is it on the floor? Is it on the field level?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they said that's a new thing they're trying this year to push it wider. I believe that is going to be the field goal posts. The netting.
That would be weird.
I think the net itself won't be that wide, but the poles for it I think will be. They said that actually will cut off less people's views over there than where it would have been. I don't know. From the tour, I think that's, unless I'm thinking of something different, but I believe the blue chaos flag is going to be up on the top level in the corner. And Nathan Burke did say the best part about having it up there is in the background when the guy's hyping up the crowd, you won't see porta potties this year when raising up the flag. So that's
a good step. That's a good step.
One thing I am disappointed in, Mike, is one of the early plans was when they had that entrance they're going to make through the middle of the club when the team comes out. The plan was to have the hammer kind of in a glass case right there for all the fans to see, and then a player was going to grab the hammer out, and then they were going to run out onto the field. But I guess there's a tradition of presenting the player that's going to carry it before that, and it's in their locker when they show up, and there's a little presentation the football team typically does to give the hammer to the person that's going to carry it out. So the football program, I guess, the coaches and the administrative staff there pushed back, and I guess that's the reason they're not going to have the glass case. They're just going to have the player already have the hammer with him when they walk out. But the whole entrance they have planned does seem pretty cool, and it's supposed to be ready for Banana Ball. I'm actually trying to. You can buy tickets for Banana Ball in that end zone. I think I may try to do that just so I can get a early sneak peek of it. It might be the only time I can ever go and sit in something in the north end zone. So I may try to get our family tickets over there just to see what it's like. But yeah, it is. I believe in the next week or so, Mike, they're also any day now going to start putting the seats in too. So the outside's going to start to look even more done once the seats start going in, which my understanding could be as early as next week. So they're close on the seats as well, and that'll probably definitely change the look of it. And then they're adding ribbon board. There's going to be those ribbon boards that are going to go around there. But we also found out in the I don't remember if I said this on your show or not. We also found out that they're adding ribbon boards to the other end of the stadium. Right now, they just have the ribbon boards on the sides of the facade of the upper deck. That now those I don't know what sections it is, but those add-ons that now curve around the curve around seats in the corners there on the south end zone. They're going to extend the ribbon board all the way around to the end of that, which they typically that has ended kind of at the goal line. But those seats that curve around, they're going to add the ribbon board all the way around to that. So that's going to be another small, subtle change that I think will be nice when that comes. But all right, back to what I want to talk about, the offensive line, Mike. A lot of questions with the offensive line, and unfortunately you can't get a ton of answers this spring because three of the guys that are projected to battle for starting spots or be guaranteed starters in some cases are not participating in spring practice because of injuries. I think we feel good about Roger Carrion being a starter. Kyle Cox was going to be in the mix at left tackle, and now they bring in, Etheridge from CSU Pueblo, and he's getting all these reps, and Cox is, kind of sitting there on the side waiting for his shot. Dalen Matoyer supposed to battle at right tackle. He's also been out this spring. What do you make of what this group looks like and whether or not we're really going to have any idea, after spring here about this group going into the summer?
Yeah, we won't have any idea, but we'll get a pretty good comfort feeling about the depth. And I said yesterday on Idaho Sports Talk that the offensive line quickly is, and again, everything evolves and everything can be fluid. And when it comes to spring camp, so I completely used my authority to change or flip flop, as they'd like to say in our business. I think the offensive line could be the strength of this football team, and I feel that right now. And I feel like that now because of what's going on in spring camp. And technically, there's up to 4 dudes on the offensive line with starting experience who aren't in spring camp. So that means there's 5 other dudes. And I like the names that you threw out there and the mixing and matching and some of the new guys that are plugged and played. Essentially, if Tim Keene does it right, and I think Tim Keene might be the second best coach on this staff because James Montgomery is always going to be number 1 for me, but I think Tim Keene's a hell of an offensive line coach. And if I can get one starting line coming out of spring camp, and knowing that I'm going to get a completely different starting lineup with the offensive line going into fall camp, I got 2 starting offensive lines. And now you mix and match them and you get that depth. I got 10 dudes ready to rock and roll. And if the other strength of this football team is the 2 running backs and you're a little worried about your quarterback, and I think I'm speaking a lot of truth right here, then maybe the strength of this team, as Spencer Danielson always says, is power football, run the football. But I think it's going to work because I really like what's going on with this offensive line. Still need to see more growth out of the new guys this spring. Can't wait to see a watch for this next couple of weeks. But I've come away the last couple of weeks with really good feelings about this offensive line. They've settled on a pretty good rotation. It's the same 5 guys for the most part, working with the number ones. And I like what I'm seeing. So it's the left tackle is kind of weird. I mean, ever since Darren College showed up, in 2002, they've had a starting left tackle every single year that went to the NFL except for Archie Lewis in 2016, I think. He was the one outlier. So this is rare territory to not have a proven NFL-bound left tackle. They brought in the Etheridge kid, as you said, a Division II player. He's got 1 year. 1 year. You bring in a Division II kid for a position like that for 1 year, you have high expectations. And I guarantee you, Tim Keene and Spencer Danielson looked at him and said, you need to be the starting left tackle. That's your role. That's your expectation. Now go out and chase it. And so far, I really haven't seen much to change any of that.
And they've either had an established left tackle starter or they've had the obvious guy that was playing right tackle that they moved to left tackle. And then they don't have either of them. I mean, you always knew like, okay, he's going to be your left tackle next year when this guy leaves.
Yep.
And there just hasn't been. There's not that either. So yeah, it is a very unique year from that standpoint. You mentioned the same 5. That includes redshirt freshman Stuart Taufa at center. I know Steele's out. Even yesterday, Tim Keene said they're going to give Roger Carrion some reps at center just because stuff happens during games and stuff happens, with guys getting hurt. And Mason, remember, was a guard and had to move to center. And so they did say Roger Carrion, when he's back in the summer and fall, is going to get reps at center. I don't think he's necessarily going to be your starting center going into the season, but stuff changes. What do you mean? Is a redshirt freshman starting at center? He's 6'1", 302 out of Bishop Gorman High School, St. George, Utah. Stewart, they've hyped him up pretty good. I mean, Spencer talked about him even before the first practice, but do you think that ultimately, he's your starting center against Oregon, or what do you think they do at the center spot?
That's what I want, dude. Here goes Prater getting weird and getting too premature, but I'm smelling a little Scott Huff, in terms of this kid, and it's really kind of exciting. He comes from a great program, a really respected program, and I don't remember the last time Boise State coaches talked about a freshman at center. So I like his size. I need to learn more about him, and I'm going to promise myself to spend the next couple of weeks really diving in, because I did hear what Keene said yesterday, and that opened up my eyes a little bit. And he's been the number 1 center for the most part this spring camp. He's one of the 5 new guys that I talked about that are kind of locked in this rotation. And in the limited times that I've looked at him, I haven't seen anything that makes me feel worried about this. So I like his size, like his pedigree, like what the coaches are saying about him. I like his future. I'm smelling it, and I'm really kind of hoping it kind of comes to fruition. There is not, it's certainly not a sexy position, but there's just something really cool about knowing that if you can get a starting center with a good one and maybe even keep him for 3 or 4 years and be the quarterback of your offensive line and just be a rock star, Scott Huff style, I like it. And I'm starting to sense that just a little bit with this kid.
Let's hear just the opening statement from Tim Keene, just to get one bite here on his thoughts on how the offensive line is progressing so far here.
Progressing so far in spring.
It's been a good spring, a lot of good reps. We're getting a lot of reps for those young players. Way different than last spring where you have a Cage Casey, a Mason, you have Roger, you have guys that are established, are multi-year starters, multi-year all-conference players. This year is a lot more competition, so it's fun to see those guys know that every single day they have to show up and bring it, practice, be ready to go in meetings, be ready to go to walkthroughs, because that competition is neck and neck, and those guys are going from blue to orange day by day, so it makes it fun to see those guys just compete and show up every day.
I'm sure you like it.
And, the double reps is probably, we talk about that helping the quarterbacks. That's probably really helping some of these younger offensive linemen as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I was even going to throw in the wide receivers, because right now there's like a dozen wide receivers. And frankly, guys, and maybe this is a me problem, I can't tell the difference between 1 and 12 on the depth chart, seating chart, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of mixing and matching going on. This is going to be a wide receiver by committee. And if you've got that situation, if you got 6 of them on one end of the field and 6 of them on the other end of the field, you've got 12 wide receivers getting starting reps during a 2-hour practice. And I think that that's really cool. So the wide receivers, the offensive line, the groups, the rooms that have a lot of players, 10, 15, 20 players, are really benefiting from that 2-rep system at practice.
And I know maybe not this year, Mike, because he's a true freshman, and it's really hard for a true freshman to on the offensive line to get in there and be a starter or a main player. It's pretty rare. But a lot of times, as you know, like what number they give you kind of says something sometimes about what they think of you and stuff. And I found it very interesting that Cole Cronin, 4-star kid, had some big offers, signed with Boise State, hung on. There's a lot of excitement for him. Cole Cronin, they put right away in Cage Casey's number 77, which I don't think is just total by. I know I know every player gets a number. You got to fill it out. I understand it, but I did think that when I saw 77 getting some left tackle reps the other day, I said, wait a minute, who's Cage Casey's not back practicing, is he? Who is that? And they said it's Cole Cronin, and I know he needs to add some weight. He's 6'5", but they only list him at 263 pounds, I think, which seems a little low on the thing. I mean, he's a true freshman. It's his first semester on campus. Add some weight. They'll get him up by 300 pounds in a year or so. But again, maybe not for this year, but long-term, Cole Cronin, left tackle. Maybe he's a year away from being the guy we're talking about, Mike.
Good sneaky eye, BG. I love the 77 fact. I hadn't noticed that, and I think you're 100% spot on. And we know that Spencer Danielson likes to play the jersey number game, and we certainly know that the players love it. So that's a very cool observation. Nicely done.
They have some intriguing guys on that line, though, Mike, in terms of guys that haven't played a lot that maybe at some point here are ready to pop. I mean, the Alma Delaney, the 6'7", 300-pound kid that originally ended from Australia and went to Utah. He's getting more reps this spring, and I've seen some nice things from him. Greg Bienavu was a redshirt sophomore, 300 pounds, 6'4", from Arizona. I saw one of those one-on-one drills where they call a guy out, and he came out and had a great rep that I was pretty impressed with. The Ohio State transfer, Miles Walker, continued to get some reps, there and do some things. And Carson Rasmussen, the local kid, I think is going to have an opportunity for some more. So I mean, I know it's a lot of names on paper, whatever, Mike, but they've got some intriguing guys for the last year or two that we've been following that might be ready here to take that step forward.
Yeah, the Walker kid's kind of settled in at right tackle, and that's kind of cool to see. So, I think it's cool. There's a lot of new names, and you can go to spring practice every Tuesday and Thursday when we're allowed and just watch the offensive line because there's so much going on, so many different players, and I think it really is pretty deep in terms of the possibilities of what they could happen. And obviously losing those 4 guys for spring camp because of health or injuries opens up a lot of doors, and we're seeing that right now. So I almost think it's kind of a coach's dream come true that they're able to get out there and do this. So that goes back again to what I said. I think this offensive line has a chance to be the strength of this football team, and I think it can happen right off the bat this season.
Hey, Matt Boucher Real Estate. We appreciate him for his support of BNN. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Northwest is now Matt Boucher. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, use Matt and his team at BoucherRealEstate.com. Signature Roofing, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection, all your roofing needs, hit up the official roofer of Bronco Nation News. That's Signature Roofing, online at mysignatureroofing.com. Hey, if you're looking to build a fence, weather's starting to warm up here. Element Fencing, decks, pergolas, fences, cedar, wrought iron, vinyl, they can do it all. 25 plus years in the fencing business. They'll help you build that perfect project from the ground up. Element Fencing, check them out online, elementfencing.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop ridleys.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho, many more in the surrounding states. Love that CUNA location. They've got the Sun Cruisers there. So if you're looking for that local grocery store, you want to support local, think local, that's Ridley's Family Markets. Hey, rowpaint.com, the painter for a day project. If you've got the paint, they've got the painter. If you got a couple walls you need touched up, whatever you need, rowpaint.com has you covered. And again, interior, exterior painting, commercial, industrial, residential, and of course, those world-famous concrete coatings. Hit them up at rowpaint.com. And if you're looking for a new job, fresh start, career change, I got somebody for you. Transportation Compliance Service. They can help you get into the trucking industry. Maybe you never thought of the trucking industry, but it's a booming industry right now. A lot of make your own hours, get out on the open road, and all the paperwork, everything you need to do it. It's a local company. They can help you sign up, and they're helping out folks all over the world, adding like 50 accounts a day. Transportation Compliance Service, online, transcomservice.com. All right, Mike, in the final couple minutes here, we do have Scrimmage 1 tomorrow. Spencer Danielson is going to talk after the scrimmage. It is closed to the media. My understanding is we're not even going to get any kind of stats or anything from the scrimmage because there's just a lot of different live periods. It's not necessarily a games, so to speak. But when Spencer Danielson talks tomorrow at 1:30, 1:45, is there one arching question that you want to hear, that you hope to hear, a question, an answer, just your thoughts on the scrimmage tomorrow and what you want to see Boise State get out of it?
No, not really. I mean, I think it's, I don't think there's going to be much coming out of it tomorrow. Again, the ongoing conversation about the QB2 quarterback rotation, I like that an awful lot. When we were all out there on Tuesday, the Casher Herrera, Max Cutforth, they're swapping 2 reps and 3 reps. And who's going to get the most 2 reps in this scrimmage? I would imagine it's going to be Max Cutforth as Casher Herrera continues to climb. But I'm not sure. We'll see. Playmakers. How about some playmakers? Guys that make some big plays. I certainly would want to ask Spencer Danielson about that. Nice, big, solid runs. And that almost would count this year more so than in the past because of all the live tackling that we've seen. And it's really, really impressive, all the live tackling we've seen. So if Spencer Danielson comes out tomorrow and says Sire Gaines had a 70-yard run, I'm going to treat it as a legitimate 70-yard run based on what we've seen in practice. Can the back half of the secondary, 20 brand new DBs with a brand new coach, and basically everybody fighting for 5 different starting spots, and it's kind of a really cool blend to see all these guys out there who can make big plays right off the bat, who can set that tone with big playmakers in the back. So those are the things that I would be looking at for tomorrow.
I'm going to be on the live tackling. Like, it's made for us practice more fun to watch. Like, there's been more period. They had a goal line period the other day that typically maybe they do in a scrimmage that we don't get to watch. I'm sure they obviously do it in a scrimmage, but they had a goal line period that we got to watch that was similar to like a midway point of a fall camp practice or something where, I mean, they're going from the 2-yard line, good on good, full speed, Gaines, Riley just pounding in there and guys tackling them and trash talking. And there was a big stop that we can't get too specific on stuff that happened, but there was a stop at the goal line, and Jabril Frazier kind of looks over at me and Johnny, and he's strutting and dancing and he's celebrating the stop. I mean, it's been fun to watch at practice, the intensity, and we'll see 6 months from now or whatever when they're playing games what that means in terms of the tackling and all that. But final thing for you, Mike, real quick.
I wanted to throw one more quick thing out there too, because I'm wincing. You're right. Going to practice is so much different this year because of the intensity and the business and the live tackling. It's almost like it's real, and it's been really, really fun to watch. But I also spend more time at spring practice right now wincing more than ever before, and it happened on Tuesday, and I can't say his name, and I think you remember the play, but a defensive back, a potential starting defensive back, had an interception, and he ran it back 50 yards, and he got tackled, a live tackle on the goal line. I don't think we've seen him since. He came off the field with a pretty decent-looking injury. Again, that's live tackling in a situation where you never would have seen that in the past. I think it'll be fine. It was just a shoulder, but it was a significant moment at the time. So the live tackling is paying massive dividends as long as, knock on wood, this football team continues to stay healthy.
They had a 4th and 1 situation for a drill at midfield or something, Mike, and Maddox Madsen was like scrambling himself for the first down and got tackled. Like, it's crazy. I mean, it's I know we can't get too specific on what they're doing and all that, but everyone's talked about it. Zach Hill talked about that play yesterday. I mean, it's just that the intensity certainly has been ramped up. Okay, Mike, before at the hope of not making us go too far over here, I just want to get one quick basketball thought from you before we get out of here. They're starting to announce some returners. We got Carmichael back. We're still waiting to hear on NATO and Aaron's, but I think it's trending from what no reason to worry from what I've heard on either of those guys. They do have the one kid in the mix here, the guard, Damari Wheeler-Thomas. Rising Ballers Network reporting last night late on Twitter that Lazarick Houston, he was a guard I think I mentioned when you were on a week or two ago, Mike, a Division II guard from Central Missouri. His finalists are now Boise State and Washington State. Averaged 21 points a game, 5 assists, shot 37% from 3, 4 rebounds per game also as a freshman last year, Division II, and you look at his tape, it's pretty impressive. So they're out there trying. They know they have spots to fill here, Mike. They've got one in the fold, some others coming. Any just thought on where we're at on April 10th here with the basketball program?
Well, I'm certainly not chasing the transfer portal stuff like you are, and I'll remain skeptical until I actually see it.
I got subscriptions to sell here, Mike. This is right up our alley.
No, and I understand that, and that's an important part of the conversation. I totally get it. But I'm just kidding. From what I can tell right now, they have 8 players and they have 7 spots to fill. They have the 3 guards and the 4 forwards, including NATO and Spencer Aarons. As you said, no public announcement, but do you really need public announcement that you're coming back? That's a trend that's happening in college sports. I'm back. Well, you're a freshman. Of course you're coming back. Nobody wanted you. So I get it. It's social media. It's graphic. It's self-gratification. And then there's the new kid that's coming in. I forget his name. There's also a recruit.
Damari Wheeler-Thomas.
No, not him. The signee. The signee. There was a high school kid that's coming in. They signed a few months ago. So there's 8 players as far as I can tell, and 7 openings left on this roster. They still have half this roster to fill. I don't see a single big man. I know that that's coming. We've all heard the rumor. I think you're the one that kind of started that reporting speculation about the 7-foot kid from Australia, and we'll see if that plays out. That would be kind of cool and see how that does. But he's got a lot of work to do. And so far, so good. Damari Wheeler-Thomas, whatever. I mean, on paper, it sounded great. But last year, so did Dylan Andrews. So did Drew Fielder. So did a lot of these other players that sounded good on paper. So not going to get too fired up and excited. I think Leon Rice and his coaching staff still have a majority of work to do in a crazy transfer portal season. Well, we got about 10 more days left. Well, that's when the transfer portal's open. I don't think anybody's
have to enter by those days.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
From now.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't think anybody's going to go in from Boise State. So, that part's done. So I know we'll start. Well, I would imagine over the next 10 days, 2 weeks, we're going to see a steady dose of new player news, and we'll see when it plays out. But I'm not going to get too worked up about this basketball team until we see them on the court next November.
And I think that's fair. I will say that Leon Rice is trying to get the dogs, so to speak, is what he says. He wants the dogs, and we can analyze everything and all this stuff. But when you're trying to get a dog, I think there's different ways, Mike. You had the USC starter. And I don't want to say he was given everything, but the USC starter for 2 years, high-price guy, Dylan Anderson, comes over, technically coming down, I guess, a level or whatever, however you want to phrase it, versus a North Dakota State kid that's been fighting for 3 years for his, at North Dakota State, and he gets a chance to move up. Everything I've seen on the film, I think that everything, and I talked to him, he came on the show the other day. I think this Damari Wheeler-Thomas kid, and again, he's one guy. They got 5, 6, 7 to add, but he certainly seems from a mental standpoint of being the kind of dog that wants to kind of finish his career strong, and he's getting a chance to move up in level as opposed to the guy moving down. I don't know how that plays into being a dog, but the chip on the shoulder type thing, certainly with Damari Wheeler-Thomas seems to be there. And if you can get a couple guys with chips on their shoulder that want to prove themselves, maybe they catch lightning in a bottle on some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's the optimistic approach. The Prater approach is completely opposite, and you guys know that. So I don't know how you can tell if he's a dog and just because he's going up or just because he's going down. And last year we said a lot of the same things about Dylan Andrews, and it didn't really quite work. And Dylan Andrews wasn't a bust. We're just kind of using him as, was he the guy that elevated this program with his dog mentality? Probably not, but I don't think he was a bust, so I don't want to go out there. I will say this, and this will come off as bad, and you'll beat me up for it, and everybody will beat me up for it. They're building this team around Pearson Carmichael. I mean, because that's the only guy that really kind of stayed, and the one guy that was left. And so they're building it around that. When I see Pearson Carmichael, I see a pretty good basketball player who needs a lot of work, who's got great potential, but the last thing I see in that kid is a dog. And if Leon Rice is going out and saying, I need dogs, I need dogs, I need dogs, and he's building this roster around Pearson Carmichael, the dog mentality and the dog conversation takes a big credibility hit there for me. We'll see how it plays out. I think Pearson Carmichael should be on this team, needs to be on this team, but he's not a dog, and he doesn't strike me as a dog. And if you're building this team around him, that whole dog mentality thing is kind of weird.
Well, maybe that's why he's saying they need other dogs because they know that some aren't. I don't know. But they got
so far. I see 8 players on this team. I don't see a single dog yet, and I'll reserve judgment on Damarius Wheeler-Thomas, but I'm not going to sit there and say he could be a dog just based on some recruiting film.
That's fair to say. Fair to say. We'll just have to trust the coaching staff at this point. If they say they want dogs and the guys they bring in, we'll see if they're dogs or not. Like you said, on November when the games get going. Mike, appreciate you as always for jumping on. Perry says you don't believe in Santa Claus. Do you, Prater?
No, but I believe in the Easter Bunny. I saw him in my backyard last Sunday.
Hey, there you go. My kids got a nice haul from the Easter Bunny the other day. They were surprised when they came down and saw that they had, what exactly is a dog? Somebody said.
It's the mentality. It's the, I thought RJ Keene was a dog. I just don't think he was a good basketball player. I want a dog who leads the league in scraped knees, who leads the league in attitude, who leads the league in falling on the floor. But you've got to also have great basketball skill to be able to do that. You got to be a great leader. Yep. And I don't think RJ Keene was a great leader. So he was a dog, but he was an unrefined dog who wasn't a great leader and wasn't a great basketball player. You got to check all 3 boxes to be a dog. So give me some RJ Keene mentality, give me some fine-tuned skills, and then give me some leadership. That's a dog.
That's why you're the best, Prater. We appreciate it. Every Friday, you get Mike Prater here on BNN. Every weekday, 3 to 6, you get Mike Prater on Idaho Sports Talk. Any tease for today's 3 to 6 show here, Mike?
BJ Rains at 4:15. We're going to have that on. Our good boy Jim Stark, Lithia Ford of Boise, is going to join us. He spent yesterday at Augusta National, and we're going to talk to him today. I think he's traveling today. He only spent the one day there at the Masters yesterday, but I know there's some other players. Mike Welsh, the owner of Play It Again Sports, is out there. Jared Jacobs, he's the Steelheads Zamboni driver, guys. He's out there at Augusta. There's a lot of Boise people hanging out at Augusta, and we're going to talk to Jim Stark at 3:15 today and dive into that conversation, have some fun out there at Augusta.
And I showed the photo yesterday. Here's Rory McIlroy hitting a shot. Somebody sent me this. The guy in the pink shirt here in the media, I don't know if you can see it or not, but our old friend Jordan Kay is right there in the pink shirt with the glasses as part of the media contingent there. So you never know who you're going to see when you flip on the Masters. But Mike, appreciate you as always. Sorry, as usual, for going late. And we'll throw a few extra bucks in the Venmo this month. But thank you. And I'm looking forward to joining you guys at 4:15.
Appreciate it, BJ. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yep, 3 to 6. Make sure you're watching Idaho Sports Talk. Always appreciate Mike Prater for coming on Fridays and appreciate his insight. And I even told myself I'm going to try to get him off on time today. And I look up and it's 9:55. So, by the way, Carson Rasmussen. Carson is the Boise State football player. Jackson Rasmussen, who was once thought to maybe be somebody they'd be interested in if we're just talking transfer portal. The kid from Idaho that's transferring, Jackson Rasmussen, Big Sky Freshman of the Year. He has committed to Oregon State. If you haven't seen that this morning, averaged 13.6 points, 4.7 rebounds, all Big Sky tournament team. Again, Freshman of the Year in the Big Sky, 6'7" freshman, Jackson Rasmussen. His brother is an offensive lineman for the football team. There was some thought maybe Boise State would be going after him. He does have a similar build, as I said, to some of the other guys. A 6'7" guy was very similar in build to a Keene, a Carmichael, a Meadow. So they're not going to be getting him. I don't know if they were ever serious for him or not. No clue. I just know folks right away said, oh, his brother plays for Boise State. He's in Idaho. Bring him in. He has signed with Oregon State, so he will be coming to Extra Mile Arena as a visitor next season. Again, he signs with Oregon State there. So again, thank you to Sun Cruiser for this awesome golf bag. Really sweet golf bag here from Sun Cruiser, and we're going to be giving it away for the competition for the U.S. Open. So the U.S. Open, and it's funny you mentioned this. They're actually not. West Ada School District doesn't have school today, so they're probably in the other room laughing. I don't know, but for some reason, West Ada School District has no school today, so they're actually home today. But that's funny. But Sun Cruiser golf bag for the U.S. Open that's coming later this summer. Enjoy the Masters this weekend. Grab some Sun Cruisers. Again, the blueberry lemonade flavor, all the various options flavors. They have the tea flavor. If you're not a tea flavor, they have just the vodka lemonades. Highly recommend Sun Cruiser. We'll be having some this weekend in the Rains household. So Sun Cruiser, let the good times cruise. And, of course, as he said, Jim Sturk, lucky duck, got to go to the Masters. Our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. New or pre-owned vehicle. Great weekend to get out and go find that new dream car for you. Lithia Ford of Boise. Tell them you heard about it on BNN. They'll hook you up with a sweet deal. Maybe bump up the trade value or something for you on your car. So tell them you heard about it on BNN. Lithia Ford of Boise. They are the best in the business. Spencer's got a vehicle from there. Jeremiah's got a vehicle from there. I mean, you name it. All the NIL deals they have with players. So if you want to see the best, you want to be in the best new vehicle, you need to be in the same vehicle as your favorite players and coaches. That is Lithia Ford of Boise, Jim Sturk and Company. We appreciate our title sponsor for making this possible. Appreciate all of our sponsors. You see a lot of the major ones on the screen, behind me on the screen here, but this is a free show you're watching on YouTube, folks, and I say it a lot, but you would not be watching the show if not for our sponsors. The way we monetize this show is our sponsors, and it's your likes and your clicks and your subscription on YouTube down here. This is a free show on YouTube, so as much as some of you want to complain sometimes, you don't have to watch. This is a free show on YouTube, and it's thanks to our sponsors. So please support all of our sponsors. Make this thing continue and be possible, and I really appreciate all of you for your support of BNN. And so support the sponsors. Tell the sponsors you're supporting them because of BNN. Throw a photo on social media or something and tag me, and we would really appreciate that. And like I said, we'll throw you get you a gift card or something, or throw you in the pot for a prize if you do that for us. And we also have 60% off right now on an annual subscription to BNN. So if you want to jump on BroncoNationNews.com, Chris's recruiting coverage, Nathan, we got a lot of stories going up daily. You can do that right now for like $5 a month. So perfect time, 60% off, one of the best offers we're ever going to have right now, 60% off an annual subscription. If you like Boise State, jump in right now, BroncoNationNews.com. We'd love to have you as a paid subscriber. I know a lot of you in the chat are, but if you're on the fence about it, we'd love to have you. And again, 60% off right now for the transfer portal window and the spring football going on. So subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com. Have a great rest of your day. If news breaks, we'll have you covered throughout the weekend, throughout the day on BroncoNationNews.com. I'll be on with Prater and Johnny at 4:15, and we'll talk to you guys Monday morning. So Scrimmage 1, Spencer Danielson talks tomorrow. We'll get that complete video of Spencer Danielson talking tomorrow up on our YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. And lots of coverage coming. Keep the discussion going in the message boards. Go subscribe. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News live from the Sun Cruiser Studios, thanks to our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and online at BroncoNationNews.com.